Hi everyone, here we are in OR1. This is the #1 operating room here at the Plastic Surgery Clinic. And what a lot of people have asked me to talk about is implant projection. So people want to know, what is the difference between low projection, medium projection, moderate plus projection, and high projection? And what does that mean? Lots of people think that projection means how high the implant stands. It doesn't. Projection means how far out the implant projects or sticks forward in the frontways direction. Let me show you two different implants. So these two implants are both 400cc implants, but this implant is a high projecting implant, and this implant is a moderate projecting implant. So you see this implant sticks out more in the front to back direction than this implant does, but they're both 400cc's. Now, if they're both 400cc's, the higher projecting implant is also narrower. So if you look at these two implants, you see how this one is narrower than that one. So how do we decide which implant to use? Well, remember, here at the Plastic Surgery Clinic, our #1 motto is making people look natural. So the number of cc's is not as important as the look. So our goal is to do two things. We want to create a breast which is natural looking and has a beautiful shape. And that means we need to pick the projection to match the patient. So what we do is we measure the width of the breast. We have special calipers, which is a special measuring device which measures the width of the breast. We figure out how wide the implant can be and match the width of the implant to the width of the patient's breast. And then we figure out how much projection they need to get the volume they want. And so we'll pick either a moderate projecting implant or a moderately plus projecting implant or a high projecting implant. Now, high projecting implants are generally for people who have very narrow chests but want a fairly significant size. And they are really great at getting you a large size if you're small. The trouble is they're not quite as natural as the moderate projecting implant. The problem with the moderate implant though is that it's wide but not very projecting. And so most implant companies now have something in between called the moderate plus projecting implant, and that's the implant that we use most often. Halfway between moderate, halfway between high, but still gives a natural look. But remember, all of those decisions are customized to your needs and desires and what you want. And so in some patients we'll use moderate, some patients will use moderate plus, and some people will use high, but always the decision is to make it look natural because that's what we want. Thanks for watching.